So, welcome and thank you all for coming. My name's Amanda Norman, and I, along with Dr. Bandow, will be presenting Graduate Student Success Master in Science in Management webinar today. I work as an admissions counselor for Troy University, and Dr. Bandow is actually the director of the Master of Science in Management program. So she is going to be our subject matter expert on the degree and the courses within that degree, and I'm going to be the person who answers your guys' admission questions. So together we should be able to get a lot of things covered for y'all. But with that, let me give you a little bit of a background of what we'll cover today. So we're going to go over the program first, the Masters in Management program, some career options. Then we're going to discuss Troy University, how we do online learning, how we started with that, our admission requirements, important deadlines, and tuition information. So a little bit about Dr. Bandow. She is a professor for Troy University. And she is based out of Atlanta. We do have an office in Atlanta, so she's based out of Atlanta. She has an extensive background in telecommunications at AT&T prior to joining Troy University, and currently serves as the director in the Master of Science in Management program. We use the acronym MSM when we talk about it, so you guys might hear us say that here and there. Now, let's see. She's traveled as a speaker and mentor for other schools of businesses all over the U.S. and to Switzerland, Puerto Rico, the United Arab Emirates, and Mongolia. Her research and publishing areas include organizational behavior, leadership, teamwork, communities of practice, teaching, learning, and organizational change and development. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Dr. Bandow to go ahead and kind of talk to you all a little bit about the program. Dr. Bandow, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time out to attend this. If you have any questions, please ask. I will go over some of the common questions that we get about the program in general at the end. But let's go through this and we'll see what questions you have. The Master of Science in Management is a specialized master's degree. One of the questions we get is, well, is this like an MBA? And the answer is absolutely not. An MBA was designed to manage a business, and I describe this as through the numbers, because you have finance, you have accounting, you have economics, and they're the hardcore numbers that you need to run a business, because you have to understand how finance works, you have to understand accounting, and it's a generalized degree. If somebody graduates with an MBA, you can be assured that they all have similar skill sets. When you get to a specialized program like this, you have to look at the content of the program to see what's in it and what the specialty would be. This is an applied Master of Science in Management, and by that we mean we like to take your work experiences so you can understand from a real perspective, as opposed to a lot of theory and a lot of high-level theoretical discussions. We want you to apply this in the workplace. So we have courses that specifically specialize in that after you've completed some of the basic courses in the core. It is 100% online, 10 courses, 30 semester hours. You have 3 concentration options, and we'll get to those later. The focus, as I said, is learn it and apply it. And I'm finishing a class, this is the last week for us in term 4, and it's been heavy application. They actually brought in a process improvement recommendation from their workplace, and they learn how to take the models, do the analysis, and do benchmarking and baselining, and then take that back to work and make improvements. You can complete this program in as little as 1 year. There are 5 terms a year. So the next term coming up we would call summer. You can begin the program at any term, and you can take up to 2 classes a term. I would recommend, and I always suggest that you've been out of school for a while, been a while since your bachelor's degree. You might want to take just the introductory course to start so you can figure out how much time it's going to take, and you can learn some time management between your obligations, which would include your family, your job, and anything else that you do. We don't want you to get overwhelmed with this, and learn how to manage it from the start so you can get through successfully. These are the 3 concentrations. The leadership concentration includes IT and leadership and motivation, and then the advanced leadership class. Talent development is actually taught by the human resources faculty, and there's 3 classes, and it is SHRM educational requirements. And for those of you who do not know what SHRM is, SHRM stands for Human Resource Management. They are very well known. They offer specialty certificates in HR. Project management, another 3 courses. This is aligned with the Project Management Institute educational requirements. Neither the HR or the project management concentrations are set up for you to take their certification exam. Those are handled completely separately, so there are no expectations that you can do that. However, the content of those concentrations aligns with what they teach, so it will give you an advantage going in should you decide to pursue certification. The MSM program is a leadership program, and it's designed for anybody who holds a bachelor's degree. You can work in any industry or any profession. The idea behind this is that leadership is really generic, and there is a demand for strong leaders, not people who give orders, but good leadership in every place that you work, that you donate your time, nonprofits, everywhere. We need people who can leverage their strengths, use their knowledge to solve problems. And we need this at multiple levels of the organization, so that it's not designed for people who are in leadership positions. It's designed for people to lead where they are in the organization. Usually this means promotions. We've had a number of people report back to us that they have received a promotion because of the program, and that's always good to hear. There is a question. We do not have a PMI chapter, no, but you can join the national organization if you wish. There is, I believe there is a SHRM chapter on the Troy campus, and that could be an option for you if you're interested. You can also join them as an independent member by joining the national organization. Those are both options. I would suggest going to the national organization unless you're located in Troy, Alabama. Okay, the program approaches leadership by looking at theory and basics in the first few classes. After that, we get into application. For example, we have one on leading and developing high-performance teams. One of the first few classes also emphasizes leadership and ethics. We look at this from a global perspective. We look at organizational change and requirements for leadership. And the one that I'm doing is the continuous improvement class, and it's how to lead a continuous improvement effort. We've recently received some recognition. These are the 3 of the latest. We have the Best Online College for Value, it's Masters in Management, Most Affordable Online College for the Masters in Management, and recognition for the Master's Concentration in Project Management. Most of our students are already employed, so we don't get many questions about job hunting. Most of these are used for personal development, promotional opportunities. I'd say most often to get ahead in your current position or to put yourself in a good position to find a new job. We have an incredible variety of job titles. We have people from all kinds of industries represented, including nonprofits. We have a vast array of military positions that are represented. I have, I suppose probably 70% of the class right now that I'm teaching is military or retired military. We've had a lot of small business owners, a number of healthcare professionals. I had one recently in a manufacturing situation that makes medical devices. We especially have a lot of people who are in government contracting because master's degrees are used for promotion. We've had, like I said, there's a list there. We've had many. We'd have to go back and look specifically at all the different industries, but that gives you an idea. As I mentioned, some of those who have reported they've been promoted. One of them was government contracting at the Air Force Base there in, let's see. I've had one at Moody. I've had one at Hampton. I've had one at, there's Hurlburt, there's Pensacola, and the one there in Montgomery. They say that the graduate degree made the difference for them. And for skills, it's about how to manage people and how to drive organizational change. Organizational change includes continuous improvement, achieving high performance work groups, and working effectively with others. So it's many different aspects of leadership. Oops, there I am. Okay, couple of things that I usually get questions on, and one of them is, should I take these courses in a certain sequence? And the answer to that is absolutely yes, please. You have to start with the intro course. That has to be taken the first term. That's the US 6600. That's because we do not require a business degree for you to start. So you need a business background. For those of you that have a business background, this should be an easy course for you. It is still required. We don't waive it. Second thing I recommend is that you will have two advisors assigned to you. One is a faculty member, one is your student representative. The faculty member can talk to you about courses to take, careers, other things related to the academic side, but get to know your support rep because they can get into more systems. They help you with forms. They can walk you through processes and put you in touch with people that can help you. So remember, there's two. Another question I get is about transfer credit. Sometimes somebody will say, well, I took 3 courses at XYZ University. Will they transfer? And there is a requirement that you have to be unconditional before you can file the paperwork for transfer credit. But remember, with transfer credit, and most people don't know this, it needs to be something that is in the program already. In other words, this master's in management doesn't include anything in finance because that's really an MBA course. So if you were to ask me, I want to transfer my finance course, I'd say we don't have anything in the program to match that, so it's not eligible. So we're looking for similar content when we transfer. And then the last point I'd like to make is this is for leadership at any level, regardless of where you are in the organization, because leadership is really looking in the mirror and deciding that you're go through a number of things. We do projects, we do cases, we do a lot of things to give you experience and to help you come to decisions necessary to help you advance in the organization, hopefully, or help you find that job. Okay, I'll stop talking. Does anybody have questions?
I'm not seeing any questions so far. Yeah, not seeing any questions in the chat either. So I guess we'll keep going about how Troy does online classes and our admissions process. Oh, we have a question. What is the graduate requirement for a transfer credit?
As a faculty member, I'm going to give you my best guess because we usually don't get involved in the grade requirements. But when you transfer a course in, the grade does not come with it. I believe it has to be in a graduate course. It has to be a B or higher, but I think someone probably needs to check that because all we do as faculty members is transfer content. We review it, make sure it's a match, and then we can approve it. But the grade requirement is kind of outside of my scope. So I think it has to be a B or above, but that's something that would have to be checked.
Yeah.
And another question? Go ahead.
I was about to say, to follow up on that, I know usually most graduate programs, you have to take a class with them before they start to evaluate transfer credits. So that might be something that you're going to want to work with your faculty advisor once you get admitted. Dr. Bandow, we have another question. Would somebody who doesn't have an undergraduate degree in business be at a disadvantage starting this program compared to someone with an undergrad in business?
No, the answer to that would be no, because it's designed initially for people who do not have an undergrad in business. That's why we have the intro course. And that touches on all the key areas of business, but it is at a very high level. So it's not expecting you to do complicated problems for finance, for example. But you do need to know about those since you are entering the business world with this master's degree. Because it is a specialized degree, it's unique. There's often I wouldn't want to say surprise, but don't really understand the uniqueness until you get into it. And when they start some of those intro courses, that's where you pick up the foundation for the courses later. So I would say that if you follow the sequence, you're going to have what you need before you get to the courses that are preferred to be taken at the end of your program.
I think that's it.
Jennifer has a question. Is it correct that you can transfer over 6 credit hours or 2 classes? That would be 6 semester hours. And the answer is yes, if the content of the courses applies to the MSM program. That is the maximum, however. Remember, it has to be a content match. It can't just be a course I took somewhere and I want graduate credit for it. Because it has to be relevant to what we're learning. And some of those, like I said, finance and accounting just don't fit because they're not in the MSM curriculum.
Okay, if that's it for questions right now, we'll keep going to go over kind of how Troy does the online classes and all of that. And that's Dr. Bandow's email address if you guys have questions that you think of afterwards to contact her about the program specifically. So we're going to go over how Troy does online learning. So our online program, it is a perfect fit for any schedule. So our online degrees, they are geared to for non-traditional students. And when we say non-traditional students, that's usually defined as somebody who's over the age of 25, who's trying to balance school with a full-time job, family, military duties. So our online classes give that non-traditional student a flexible format and incredible resources, including stellar faculty like Dr. Bandow. With Troy Online, you can receive a quality education while completing your classwork anytime, anywhere, as long as you have internet access. So, with COVID-19, there were schools that had to adjust from teaching solely in-person classes to providing distance learning. This was not a huge adjustment for Troy University because we have been doing distance learning for a while. We are actually one of the first colleges to offer distance learning to military members by bringing our classes to a military base, Fort Rucker, Alabama, back in the 1950s. As technology progressed, so did the way we taught. We went from having classes presented by VHS tapes to setting up classrooms with internet so that professors could video into multiple locations at one time to teach a class, to what we use now, which is an online class platform. So we definitely have been embracing distance learning for a while. We've got a lot of the resources that you need to be able to do it effectively. So with our online degrees, so we have 68 degrees that you can complete entirely online. 33 of those 68 are your graduate level degrees, so your master's, doctorate degrees. And your online classes, they are, like Dr. Bandow mentioned, they're on terms. So they are on 9-week terms versus the 16-week semester. So we've got 5 of those that begin January, March, May, August, and October. To be a full-time student for those 9 weeks, it is 6 credit hours versus when you're at a traditional 16-week semester, you'd be looking at 12 hours to be full-time. So it's 6 credits for those 9-week terms. So our class format is pretty flexible. You do not need to be logged in at a specific day or time for your class. Every week you will have tasks and assignments that you need to complete by a certain time. You can get those done at a time that is convenient for you, not be regulated that you have to be logged in at 2 p.m. Eastern time on a Monday for the class. So you definitely have the flexibility there. Our Master's in Management program is one of what we call our fast track programs. So these are programs that you can complete in a year if you were to take a full-time load. So 2 classes every term. So to have all these online classes and online programs, we need to have a system that kind of houses that. And so our system that we use, it's a web page actually, is my.troy.edu. So I tell students who've recently been admitted, make sure you bookmark this on your computer because you're going to go to it a lot. And there's no www, it's just my.troy.edu. So here's a list of some of the online resources we have for our students. And I'm going to just touch on 3 of them. That's Student Software, the Library, and NetTutor of this list, because we could spend a lot of time going through really deep into the resources. So as far as software, we do have a lot of the software to run the online classes. But one of the things that's kind of nice for our students is when you are enrolled at Troy, you get free access to Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. So the Microsoft Office suite is included in your enrollment. So that's pretty nice. You access it through that my.troy.edu. So you don't have to worry if you don't have that stuff at home, it's included. As far as the library, our library system is online and it is robust. There are over 245 databases in there, so it can be very overwhelming for people the first time they need to do some research in that library system. The nice thing with our library system is we have librarians who are assigned to certain fields. So there is a librarian, Rachel Hopper, who is the librarian for the business students. So if you need help once you get admitted to Troy, accessing scholarly articles for a research paper, we definitely have those resources for you too, and definitely utilize those librarians to help you navigate the system the first time. The third thing I wanted to touch on this slide is NetTutor. So NetTutor is free tutoring available for our students. The one part that's probably going to be the most useful for our MSM students is going to be that within NetTutor, there is a writing center in there where you can drop off a paper and have somebody read it and give you feedback. I know for me, when I took classes recently, a couple of years ago, it had been years since I had written academic papers, and I would have my poor husband read them for me to try to like proofread, make sure that they were good. It would have been much nicer, and my feelings probably would have been hurt less not having my husband critique me on my writing, having a third party do it. So it's kind of nice to have that free service where you can just drop it off, have somebody read it, and get your paper to that next level. Okay, so as far as our online classes, when you're on that my.troy.edu, it, like I said, it's a launching pad to a lot of our Troy resources, one of them being Canvas. That is where all of your online classes are going to live. That's where, when you go into Canvas, you're going to see the classes you're registered for. You go within that class, and you'll see your assignments, your exams, discussion boards, your announcements, your class syllabus. All of that is within Canvas. And that's also where you can access NetTutor and the Microsoft Office suite. Another thing you can get to from the my.troy.edu portal is going to be your student self-service. So this is where you can kind of access your student account, where you can register for your classes, look at your financial aid information, update your address, all of that. So that's kind of more of your account information. Now I'm going to start covering the admission requirements. I do see for the Masters in Management. So for the Masters in Management, these are the materials that you're going to have to turn in after you submit your application. We're going to need transcripts, official transcripts from every school you've attended. So if you went there for one class, we will need that transcript. You can have those either mailed to us at this address, Troy University, 100 University Park, or sent to us electronically at transcripts@troy.edu. For these transcripts to be official, they need to be sent directly from that previous institution directly to Troy. If it goes to you and then to Troy, it becomes unofficial. And my biggest recommendation is if the school has the option to send it electronically, make sure they send it electronically to us, because those electronic transcripts can get to us within a business day or two, where the snail mail ones, we can see them taking 2 to 3 weeks to get to us. So if electronic's an option, definitely use it. The second thing we'll need is a letter of recommendation. We recommend that you get that from a previous college professor or a supervisor, somebody who's like supervised you at work or in a volunteer role, some sort of supervisory position, where they can attest to your oral and written communication skills along with your potential for success in the program. And that letter of recommendation, you can either email that to your admissions counselor or upload it into your application. The nice thing with this degree is it does not require a graduate entrance exam. So you do not need to worry about studying for the GRE or MAT or GMAT for this. There is no test score, like no test required to be admitted for this. So when we review, when our processors review applications and see if somebody can be admitted or not, they can accept people in one or two statuses. So they can admit people unconditionally. So that an unconditional admit, they have our minimum GPA requirement. They went to a regionally accredited school. They submitted all their official documents. Students who are admitted on the other status is conditional. So conditional students, they also went to a regionally accredited college, got their bachelor's degree. They submitted all their official documents. However, their GPA does not meet our minimum requirements. And I'll go over what those are on the next slide. So if they do not meet our minimum GPA requirements, we can accept them on a conditional status if we think they will do fine in our program. So being admitted on conditional status means that you have some conditions, some strings attached to you. Those strings are that you must maintain a 3.0 GPA after 9 credit hours. So after your first 3 classes, they're going to review you to see what your GPA is. If it is below that 3.0, you're going to be dropped from the program. If it's a 3.0 or higher, they're going to clear you from that conditional status and make you unconditional. So that's how that works. So that's the biggest string, is that they're going to watch and make sure that you are progressing well in the program. And we'll go over what those admission requirements are. So what we're looking for the GPA is a 2.5 overall GPA, or a 3.0 in your last semester hours, 30 semester hours. If you do not have that, that's when we look at you for conditional status. Both programs still need letters of rec, and both programs, like both statuses, do not require test scores. Okay, this is the application process. So if you have not already, our application is an online application. You have to create an account in it. So you would go to enroll.troy.edu. Create a profile if you haven't already. If you have created a profile, your username and password for this website is going to be your personal email address and a password that you created. When you're in there, you're going to want to start or work on your graduate application. After you fill out your graduate application and hit submit, it will take you to a payment page. At the end of this presentation, we're going to give you a promo code that will waive that $50 application fee. That promo code is good for this week, so you're going to want to use that promo code as soon as possible, by Friday at the latest, to make sure you get that fee waived. Once you put in that promo code and you apply the discount, you can submit your application can get submitted, and it will be fully submitted. We will then need your admission materials, those transcripts and letter of recommendation. Once we have all of your admission materials and your application, our application processors, they're going to look over your application to see if they can admit you or not. So that's kind of how the process goes. When the processors review your application, they will let you know if you are accepted or not to Troy via email. So definitely keep an eye on that email that you registered your account with, because that's how we'll let you know. Okay, important dates and deadlines. So our next term actually begins May 26th, which is 2 weeks away. If you did want to get started for that term, you're going to want to definitely get pedal to the metal, get your transcripts turned in, application turned in as soon as possible, so we can get you started for that May 26th term. It is not too late for that term. The term after that is going to be August 10th, with a deadline of July 31st. Now, this application deadline is the deadline that you have to apply. It is not the deadline you have to turn in your documents. I will have students sometimes who can turn in the documents we get their documents the first day of classes. We can get them processed and good to go that first day of classes, and they can get started. So it's, of course, not the most ideal situation, because then after you're admitted, that's when financial aid starts processing your account. So not ideal, but we can do it if you are running that behind. The term after August is October 12th, and the term after that will begin January 4th. That January 4th application deadline, you can see it's a little bit earlier than the other ones. It's going to be December 18th, just because of the holiday break. We work on reduced hours during the holiday break. As far as tuition, so our online graduate tuition is $4.94 per credit hour. Our online classes, there is rarely fees that we see with those. So most of our online graduate students, they're just looking at that $4.94 per credit hour. If you do take a class in person, depending on where you're taking that class, the tuition and fees may vary. They've changed a little bit, but if you're doing it solely online, it's $4.94 per credit hour. If you have questions about what the tuition would be if you took the one class in person, feel free to reach out to your admission specialist and your admissions counselor, and they can give you that information for the location you're looking at. And this is my contact information. If you guys have any questions about admissions information, feel free to reach out to me. And in the chat, I'm going to send you guys a link to our survey. So while you guys are writing down some of this information, and then the next slide will be the promo code for the application. While you guys are copying that down, if you guys don't mind filling out the survey, it is a 5-question survey, so it is not that long. It lets us know what we can do better, what you'd like to see in these presentations next time, just so we can give you all what you need. And did everybody have enough time to get that promo code? It's GradWeb. And then and we are going to open it up for any questions. I did have a question that came to me about graduate full-time. It is 6 credits for full-time status.
Amanda, are we good to ask questions via this medium?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I just had a really quick question. Is there a grant that may be associated in applying military tuition assistance with this program?
So you're planning on using tuition assistance from what branch of service?
Air Force.
Air Force. Okay. So you can use tuition assistance. We do have a scholarship for active duty military and their dependents. So after you get admitted to Troy, you would have to apply for the scholarship, and you will actually, since you're the active duty member, you'll turn in some proof that you are active duty. The most common one that the soldiers I work with turn in is their last set of orders. So they turn that in so that we have it on file. And then every term you would email your TA form to taforms@troy.edu. And so once they have that TA form, they'll apply the scholarship. If you run out of TA, because TA usually only pays for 16 semester hours a fiscal year, if you run out of TA and you decide to pay out of pocket, we'll keep you at that scholarship rate, which covers tuition above that $250 mark that tuition assistance does not cover. Does that answer your question, Andrew?
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. So I can imagine that once I apply and get through the application process, I can go ahead and find out about the scholarship program.
Yeah, and we have information on it too. If you go to troy.edu/scholarships, there's going to be a link on there that says military. You can click on that and read up on how that scholarship works. But yeah, we just need proof that you're active duty.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. Any other questions out there?
Hey, Amanda, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just want to get some clarification on that. I understood active duty had a fixed rate at $250 credit hour, specifically for tuition assistance that we get. Are you saying that there is an additional scholarship? Are you saying that? Is that what you're getting at? Once we prove that we're active duty, that is, I guess, in turn our quote unquote scholarship.
Yeah, so that's how it works. So if you're active duty, tuition assistance will only pay for $250 per credit hour. So Troy has a scholarship that covers the tuition above $250 a credit hour. If you run out of tuition assistance, we still scholarship you above that $250 rate. So you would be paying $250 out of pocket. Depending on what branch of service we can use, like the Army's tuition assistance program is a little bit different than the other branches. So the Army's tuition assistance program, we can prove pretty quickly that somebody's active duty through the Go Army Ed portal. Where the other branches of service, their portals are slightly different, so we need proof from them. Does that answer your question, Jared?
Yeah, that's too easy. I was just making sure that there wasn't anything additional. Like I said, I understood tuition was fixed at $250 for active duty. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't, like I said, if I went in there and did something, I could get additional funding or anything like that, whether it be a book stipend or something like that. That's all.
If you get like a third-party scholarship, you can apply that to us too. But as far as Troy scholarships, that military one is actually a pretty good deal.
Right. Thank you very much.
No problem. Any other questions out there?
Amanda, do you know if the GI Bill fully covers the program?
I think it depends on what GI Bill you're using, but I have not encountered any students having issues with their GI Bill for this program, or well, for any of our degrees.
Okay.
I think I might have a little bit of information on that one. So your GI Bill should cover 36 months of education. What your tuition is irrelevant. All your other costs should be based on months of school, not like I said, cost of tuition. You could go to some small college that is $100 credit hour, or a scholarship, or a school that's $1,000 credit hour. The way the GI Bill should work for all branches is based on the time that you're in school. So if it's a 30-hour program like this degree plan is, or at least if you're doing the MSM, the GI Bill will cover. If you're using tuition assistance, there's a program, I think it's called the Kick-Up Plan or the Top-Up Plan, that you should be able to talk to an education center for your branch about how you can use your GI Bill, but not all of your GI Bill, since you will be also getting tuition assistance.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure who just asked about the GI Bill, but yeah, if you're using post 9/11, it covers it. But there are other GI bills, so it depends on which GI Bill you're using. Because I know some people use their state, like their state has a GI Bill. So
Yeah, I'll be using post 9/11. Tuition assistance is no longer an option since I am retired. So.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions out there? Okay. If you guys don't have any questions, feel free. Hopefully you took down my information, Dr. Bandow's information. Feel free to reach out to either of us if you guys have any questions. Be sure to do the survey and be sure to do the application and use that promo code this week so that you can utilize that free, fee waiver, app fee waiver. But thank you guys so much for attending. We look forward to seeing you guys as new Troy students soon, and hope you all are staying safe out there. Have a wonderful day.